Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today because, honestly, we're tackling something incredibly practical. We're taking a massive step beyond that basic textbook English you learned in school to explore how to express real native-level frustration. You know the feeling, right? We've all had those moments where we just need to vent, but the standard vocabulary just doesn't quite capture the true depth of our annoyance. Well, today we're going to fix exactly that. We're giving you the actual phrases native speakers use when their patience absolutely runs out.
So I gotta ask, are you ready to finally graduate from just saying, I'm angry? Let's be real, frustration is a totally universal feeling. Just imagine being at a Saturday youth basketball game. The official referee's called in sick, and the replacements are literally 15-year-old neighborhood kids who've never played basketball, let alone refereed a game. The calls are just completely wild, and you look around and see parents looking like their heads are actually going to explode. Or, hey, think about being stuck in one of those agonizing, endless customer service phone queues. We all experience these highly frustrating moments. The real question is, how do we express this annoyance naturally, like native speakers do, without sounding like a walking dictionary?
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap. We're going to look at English expressions of anger and frustration, how to use I'm done, an explanation of I'm fed up, points to note for I'm over it, a few other native expressions, and finally, a scenario role-play practice. Let's get to it.
Section 1. English expressions of anger and frustration.
Moving right into Section 2, how to use I'm done.
So when you hit that ultimate breaking point, like, say, a company raises their prices on you for the third time, I'm done is the absolute perfect phrase. It's this super trendy, modern way to show you are completely finished dealing with a recurring issue. The product isn't improving, the costs keep climbing, and you have literally zero interest in dealing with it anymore. Check out this quote. I've been on hold with customer support all morning. I am so done. Do you hear how powerful that is? It's not just, I'm done. By throwing in that little word so, you are brilliantly illustrating that your frustration is through the roof. It's an active emotion, not a passive one. When someone drops an I am so done, they are probably seconds away from hanging up the phone, walking out the door, or just canceling the whole subscription. It's a fatalistic phrase that signals immediate action.
All right, Section 3, explanation of I'm fed up.
Now, this phrase is perfectly tailored for those situations where your patience has just been tested over and over again for a long period of time. You see, while I'm done is often a sudden reaction to the final straw, I'm fed up really highlights that slow, agonizing buildup of sheer annoyance. To really wrap our heads around I'm fed up, we got to look at this fantastic native idiom, being at the end of your rope. It creates such a vivid picture, right? Imagine your patience is a physical rope you're holding on to. As the annoyance drags on, your hands keep slipping further and further down. So when you finally say, I'm fed up, you're basically telling the world you have reached the very end of that rope. There's no slack left. Your patience is 100% gone.
Let's ground this in some stuff we all deal with. You know the drill. We've all had that one smartphone app that just constantly crashes exactly when you need it most. Or what about your Wi-Fi randomly cutting out at the absolute worst possible time, like right in the middle of a major video presentation? Ugh, the worst. Or maybe you're dealing with a friend or someone you're dating who changes their mind every 5 minutes. These are all totally classic, everyday scenarios where your rope has simply run out and you are officially fed up.
Which brings us to Section 4, points to note for I'm over it.
Okay, I want you to really lean in for this one because this phrase is exceptionally dynamic and honestly requires a bit of special attention. I'm over it is kind of tricky because it carries a very distinct dual meaning. If you aren't paying close attention to the context and the speaker's tone, you could totally misunderstand what they're trying to say. First up, let's look at it as a pure expression of total frustration. A super common modern trigger for this is getting left on read. In texting or dating, this is when someone's read receipt clearly shows they've seen your message, but they blatantly choose to ignore it. If a guy has left you unread one too many times, you might literally throw your hands up, look at your phone, and say, I'm over it. In this context, you simply cannot handle the disrespectful behavior for another second. You are deeply, deeply frustrated.
So let's contrast these two opposite meanings. On the left side, we have that frustrated context we just talked about. Think about being on the phone with customer service for 3 whole hours and finally yelling, I am so over this, meaning I absolutely cannot tolerate this anymore. But look over at the resolved or forgiven context on the right. Imagine you get off that long phone call, the issue is finally fixed, and your partner asks, hey, are you still upset? You just kind of smile, sigh, and say, no, I'm over it now. We took care of it. See the difference? Here, it means you've completely moved past the anger. The huge takeaway here is that tone and context are absolutely crucial for distinguishing between furious frustration and total resolution.
Section 5. Let's check out a few other native expressions.
Here we've got two completely different flavors of frustration, and throwing these into the mix will make your conversational English sound incredibly rich. First, don't even get me started. This is an amazing phrase to immediately shut down a conversation about something terrible. Like maybe you just barely survived horrendous traffic, or your absolute favorite restaurant ruined their menu. It's literally designed to stop the chat in its tracks, basically signaling, listen, if we talk about this, I'm going to be angry all day long. And then, on the flip side, we have, I've had it up to here. This one is a slightly older, classic idiom. It's brilliant for when, say, the kids just aren't listening. And the best part, it usually comes with a physical hand gesture. You place your flat hand right below your chin to visually demonstrate that your internal tolerance level has literally peaked. You cannot take even one more drop of annoyance.
And finally, Section 6, Scenario Role-Play Practice. Okay, let's put it all together and set the scene. You and I are waiting at a coffee shop for our friend Sam. Now, Sam just texted to say they are running late for the third time this week. Let's watch how our frustration naturally escalates. In step 1, right when we get that text, you say, I'm kinda over it. Notice how adding kind of subtly softens that initial blow? You're annoyed, for sure, but you're still holding back just a little bit. However, as we sit there sipping our lattes and realize Sam isn't even apologizing, we escalate to step 2. I'm fed up with people not being on time. Boom, the rope is gone. The patience is completely vanished. And finally, the frustration just fatally boils over into step 3. I've had it up to here with waiting around, I'm taking off. And with that, you make the definitive action of literally walking out of the coffee shop.
Well, that brings us to the end of our explainer, but I want to leave you with a provocative question to think about. The very next time your Wi-Fi randomly cuts out during a super important moment, which of these native expressions are you going to use? Are you fed up? Are you so done? I'm challenging you right now to officially graduate from that basic I'm angry and start actively applying these nuanced, powerful native phrases in your everyday life. Thanks so much for hanging out and learning with me today, and keep practicing.
Got it! What's up? Catch up! Aha!